Hello, welcome to the Oracle Coherence 12C R2 YouTube video series. My name is Craig Blitz. I'm the Director of Product Management for Oracle Coherence, and today I'd like to provide an introduction to our latest release, Coherence 12.2.1. Coherence 12.2.1 is one of our largest releases we've done recently and is packed with innovative new features as well as new licensing and packaging options that allow you to deploy coherence at very low cost. As a reminder, some of the statements I may make may be forward-looking, and any functionality or timing of forward-looking statements are subject to change. Why are we talking about in-memory data grids? Well, Gartner recently produced the hype cycle for in-memory computing technology, and one of the things that you'll notice on this chart that there are quite a few in-memory technologies that are climbing what we would call that peak of inflated expectations or heading into that trough of disillusionment. Such things as in-memory computing in general, Spark, event stream processing are all very near that peak of inflated expectations. On the other hand, in-memory data grids, which have been around for quite a while, Coherence was actually founded by a company called Tangasol in right around 2000, 2001, is ready to enter that slope of enlightenment, that area where you start to see more and more productivity coming from use of the in-memory data grid products. And when you look at in-memory data grid products, as Forrester recently did in the Forrester Wave report that they did in this calendar year, but just a couple of months ago, they noticed there's no better way to achieve blazing fast performance at scale. And what they've noticed is that Oracle continues to innovate. As they say, Oracle innovates to stay on top of the category it invented. Oracle, in this report, had the top-ranked current offering, the top-ranked solution roadmap, the top-ranked market presence, and the top-ranked architecture. In other words, we have the best current product, we have the best roadmap going forward, we're the largest in the market, and it's all built on this solid rock, our solid architecture. What is coherence used for? Well, similar to most in-memory data grids, we have several use cases. The first is to achieve web scale application platform. That is to give you the basis on which to scale your applications, your web-facing applications, or just any kind of application that needs to scale to lots of users, lots of data. And we do this by offloading data management from your application tier, allowing you to store lots and lots of data, and then to offload your processing, your querying to that data tier. We also serve as a basis for a fast data platform in which the in-memory data grid is ingesting streams of data, perhaps correlating or doing some other kind of computation on that data before feeding it downstream to some execution and analytic engines. And of course, very popular use of coherence and in-memory data grids is as a distributed cache, in which we're front-ending, back-end, or legacy data sources, could be web services, partner web services, a database, could be applications such as Cbol, PeopleSoft, with the intent that you both improve the performance, the latency of operations against that data source by bringing the data closer to your applications, saving money by not hitting those services over and over again, and also providing you availability in the case that you have outage in one of your backend uh, data sources. The Coherence 12c roadmaps, 12c R1 came out in July of 2013 with our release 12.1.2. We had several big features as part of that, and two of the most popular, one was certainly managed coherence servers, which gives you the option now of managing the full life cycle of your coherence application using the same tooling as is used for WebLogic Server. It's not mandatory, of course. You can still deploy Coherence standalone or deploy Coherence with other application servers. But if you're using Coherence together with WebLogic Server, it gives you a very powerful way of deploying Coherence and managing Coherence in a way that your operations team will be familiar with from WebLogic Server. Golden Gate Hot Cache solved a very critical problem for many of our users. That is, how do I keep my cache in sync with databases as the database is changing underneath the cache? So an application goes and changes the database. How do I push that change to Coherence? And Hot Cache solves that problem for us, quite uniquely leveraging our Golden Gate product. 12.1.3, we provided compliance with the latest JSR 107 standard, the JCache API. We also provided support for Memcached. So if you have a Memcached deployment and you want to improve its scalability, improve its availability, you can slip a Coherence in there instead of the Memcached server and get improved performance, improved availability. We also, for the first time, supported the Java 8 runtime. However, we did not support new Java 8 features such as lambdas and streams and default methods. And one of the exciting things I'll be announcing in 12.2.1 is support and very innovative support for such features. So in 12.2.1, let me give you a quick tour of what we're delivering in 12.2.1. And I really encourage you to watch our other YouTube videos that goes very in-depth in this. I don't want to steal the thunder from the videos, so I'll give you a very quick tour here. And it starts with multi-tenancy. So in 12.2.1, Coherence has implemented the ability to host multiple applications or the same application on behalf of multiple tenants. And this works in conjunction with WebLogic Server, where we have a full stack WebLogic Server, web tier I should start with, a load balancer, down to WebLogic Server, down to the Coherence for caching data, down to the database where you can use either our pluggable database or you can use an older unpluggable database for multi-tenancy. The second big feature that we've added is what we call persistent caching. And persistent caching allows you to quickly recover from a persisted data store when you have some kind of planned or unplanned outage. So this is not the same as doing a write through and then reading from a database upon failure. It's a whole new layer within Coherence that's specifically designed for automated recovery from outages. The third feature that we've introduced is called federated caching. Federated caching is a full multi-data center solution built into the core of our product that offers much faster, much more scalable caching or multi-data center solutions than did our prior product, much easier to configure, and is the basis for Coherence's contributions in a new WebLogic SKU I'll be talking about called continuous availability. We've introduced authorization and audit improvements in Coherence so that it's now possible to fully authorize and audit all cache access, both access and updates in Coherence. Um, Java 8, we've done an awful lot about Java 8, and I'll talk about this in 1 second. We also have other features. We've added much improved generic support, as well as performance improvements in our near caching scheme. We've we've we offer now thread pool tuning, so that you don't have to tune your cache servers. Very important for you when you're deploying on things like on a cloud, where you may not even know what resources you have available to you, and so we'll tune automatically, as well as a host of cluster discovery and configuration improvements. Now, Coherence, of course, is part of a platform at Oracle. Coherence, when we're delivering features for Coherence, we look both at our standalone Coherence customers and at our customers that use Coherence within the platform of WebLogic Server plus Coherence plus our OTD traffic director. And in that vein, we've introduced two new SKUs within WebLogic Server. The first one, called WebLogic Server Multi-Tenant, which takes advantage of the multi-tenancy features both of WebLogic Server and Coherence to offer improved consolidation ratios. So you can now shrink the number of resources by as much as 3x that it takes to run a host of WebLogic Server domains backed with the Coherence data grid. Also, WebLogic Server continuous availability, in order to give you a full stack active solution, or multi-data center solution, to reduce app downtime. We've also produced a number of developer innovations across the board, from DevOps integration within WebLogic Server to Java SE 8 on the grid, as we're calling it. Now, I've talked about Java 8 without telling you any details a number of times, and this is one of my favorite screenshots that I took from Twitter recently. Starts out with a little iPhone joke, but then goes in to ask about our cool new features and when we're delivering the support for those features. And in Java 8, what we did, and you'll see an awful lot about this in our YouTube video series, is we took the notion of lambdas and streams that are introduced in Java 8, and we extended that to the data grid. That is, you can now call and execute a lambda from a Coherence client without deploying that lambda, without deploying a class or any code on a Coherence cache server. And that lambda will run on the cache server. That is, we'll package it up, we'll send it over and execute it on that cache server. That's very cool, because what that means, of course, is that you can now change client code without having to reboot your Coherence servers and push processing to the Coherence cache servers without ever deploying classes of that code that you want to execute. Now, we've done the same thing with streams. So in Java 8, what streams allows you to do is run code against a collection and do whatever you want against that collection. Do some kind of aggregation against that collection, or do some kind of query against that collection. And it works with lambdas. But it was designed to be within a single JVM. And what we've done in Coherence, similar with Lambdas, is we've made that work across your whole cluster. So you can now call a stream leveraging a Lambda that is executed across your entire cluster. Effectively, it's standard Java 8 MapReduce, and it's extremely exciting for us, and I wholeheartedly encourage you to watch the more in-depth videos on what we've done there. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our licensing changes. We've made a few major licensing changes in 12.2.1. We now offer a new type of free developer license on OTN that allows your developers to keep working with Coherence even after you've gone into deployment. We've introduced a new SKU that I will talk about in depth called Coherence Standard Edition 1, which replaces Standard Edition. We've simplified our licensing by including real-time extend clients in all of our SKUs in Standard Edition 1, Enterprise Edition, and Grid Edition. We've provided new ways to license Grid Edition via WebLogic multi-tenancy and WebLogic continuous availability. And we've added persistent caching to all editions. So what is Coherence Standard Edition 1? It's a hot standby coherence solution for less than $1,000 per socket. I think the list price is actually $800 per socket, extremely cheap. It's a 2-server hot standby configuration with unlimited real-time clients. It includes persistence, and the intent is that it's a full API of coherence, so it provides you a full clear scale-out path from Standard Edition 1 to by migrating to Enterprise or Grid Edition without requiring any code changes. Now the good news is that it's also packaged for free in other products. So Java SE Advanced now includes a restricted use of Coherence Standard Edition 1 that's limited to a single node, though you still have persistence for HA. And WebLogic Server Enterprise Edition, which includes Java SE Advanced, includes that restricted use of the single node of Coherence Standard Edition 1. So it now allows your WebLogic developers to deploy Coherence. So what's Coherence Standard Edition 1 good for? Well, it's good for everything that Coherence is good for, except for the scale-out. So it's good as a shared or in-process cache. So if your applications are all trying to access the same data within a single JVM, you can have maybe 10 gig of data, maybe 20 gig of data that your applications can access via single process cache or via an in-process cache sitting in all your application servers. It's also a good platform to share data among your application instances. You have some data that you want to insert into the cache and then notify other applications of that data being available. You can use cache listeners, you can use near caching in your application clients in order to get that notification. And of course, it's very good for offloading data management, as we said before. If you have a moderate size of data that you want to perform queries against, or you want to do some kind of aggregations, but you don't want to do it in process because of the compute costs or other costs, you can offload that to your Coherence Standard Edition 1 server. So this is what our licensing options look like today. Starting on the low end, we have Coherence Standard Edition 1. which I just mentioned. It includes all of our API. It includes Java, JCache, REST, and Memcached clients. Includes Java SE, persistence, and real-time Java clients. Our Enterprise Edition includes the ability to manage servers via WebLogic. It includes Coherence Web for HTTP session state management. It includes your real-time C++ and .NET clients in addition to Java clients. And of course, this is a full scale-out solution, Enterprise Edition is. And then Grid Edition adds Golden Gate Hot Cache. It adds elastic data. It adds federated caching and coherence multi-tenancy. It also gives you the ability to configure as many real-time compute clients. These are clients that live within the grid without additional licensing charge. Coherence Grid Edition is also included in WebLogic Server Continuous Availability and WebLogic Server Multi-Tenancy as an upgrade option from Coherence Enterprise Edition. Some more resources for you. We have a couple of introductory papers that are available from Coherence OTN and Oracle.com web pages. One is a free downloadable PDF, In-Memory Data Grids for Dummies. I'm sure you don't need that book, but maybe you have a manager who does. We also have a new report from Forrester on the total economic impact of Oracle WebLogic Suite and Oracle Coherence that shows how companies don't just derive technical benefits from Coherence, but derive actual business benefits. Also, two white papers, one on solving data management and scalability challenges with Oracle Coherence, and the other one on Oracle Coherence plus Oracle Exalogic Cloud. For more information, of course, you can join the various Coherence community sites. Here, I've highlighted our YouTube channel because that's really the next step where you should go for in-depth information about Coherence 12CR2. You can also go back and look at our past catalog to get more information about features that we've delivered in past releases. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.